Welcome. It's time for Tennyson Gambit number 9. This person played a pretty good Tennyson Gambit, I thought, from a black standpoint. Without the highest rating in the world, they actually played very well up to a certain point. Now, the idea here is to ruin black's preparation of the Scandinavian defense while just basically creating a really dynamic center game. And the center game should be good for white. And we're willing to do is allow black to burn a little time here. Especially in this particular case, people have been protecting that gambit pawn lately, which is possible to do, but not a real happy consequence because it is a little unclear as to exactly how to follow that up. So we're going to look at this and start our engine. And immediately we're at a deficit according to the computer. It likes some declining the gambit with e5, and now we're up with the advantage. Suggesting e6 here all over the place. A whole lot of people just play that move, knight to h6. And what's interesting here is that, I played a whole variety of moves as white that should be challenging moves. And the computer seems a little bit conflicted between castling and just d3. You do have to watch the discovery attack on that knight, so d3, you should be prepared to sacrifice a second pawn in this particular scenario. So just c takes back gives us a very decent advantage. Now it says he should be playing knight out or queen out. And he plays his pawn up. And we simply castle. So these are number one computer moves. Knight to c6 he does not do. He moves his queen, which I thought was an interesting move, which the computer says just flat out loses. Now this program says both d4 and rook to e1 are really strong. Now, I don't believe I played either. I just developed. However, look at that. When I simply develop, it gives me a higher rating than its first two choices. Okay, so now it says he should be moving his bishop or his knight. And he moves his bishop to d6, so you can barely blame him. He's trying to consolidate wherever possible. He can't castle. He's becoming extremely awkward here. And what I don't like about d4 is it allows him to just play e4. Although, we can try to open it up after that. To me, it unnecessarily complicates things. The computer doesn't care that much for my move, f4. So it would be interesting to see the follow-up if he just took it. So it says knight to c6, so let's see. E takes f4, queen to h5 check. Okay. Yeah, that becomes possible, doesn't it? Okay, so it says knight to c6 is the right move. He makes it. It's like he's using a computer. Okay, so now it suggests we take. And I move my knight, giving up at least half a pawn there because he can move queen to g6, it says, which he does. And now the original computer program that analyzes Stockfish 8 suggested that rook to e1 was the right move here, I believe. I took, he took, now rook to e1 or bishop to f4, either one. And for some reason it doesn't like my queen pinning. So I like the idea of my queen pinning. There's probably a tactical flaw in it there somewhere. It's not quite as powerful as having a more minor piece do the pinning in case a queen can defend it. So now it basically has me only up one. And it says he needs to move his king, and he moves his king to one of the two squares the computer has decided is okay. And now since he moved it to that square instead of d7, I can't play knight to f4 here because there's a discovery with the check, and as you're going to see, the game's going to end, and that's what eventually happens. So I backed up my bishop, and that gives him a chance to get equality, basically. So he can move knight over to g4, and then I have to fly around and do some defensive things. And now it says he should be pinning, so both are interesting moves. So my attack is not highly instructive in this case, I'm sorry. He gives it back to me there because now I move knight to f4. Now I expected him to just go to knight to f6, but obviously he was extremely confused. So the queen to f6 line equals, we check a couple times, king to d7, bishop to h6, and rook takes f5. We end up with this pawn because we have dominated this square right here. And we end up with something there, and then at the capture of this eventually after the removal of this defender. So now that that happened, I'll just play a few more moves in this game. Because right now, really, white does not have a complete winning advantage, but it's pretty overwhelming. So he takes, he gets checked, now it's instant loss. Okay. He's in check. Now bad things are about to happen to him. So we won't play this anymore. We just wanted to show you what the middle game looked like of one of these situations where they try to protect the pawn and do a fairly successful job of it. Thank you.